5 important lessons young people should learn from Andrew Carnegie. Born on November 25, 1835, Andrew Carnegie was an industrialist, business magnate, and one of the most important philanthropists of his era, as he gave away his wealth to humanitarian causes in Scotland, America, and the British Empire, and promoted science, higher education, and world peace. In 2013, Andrew Carnegie's net worth was estimated at $310 billion. Carnegie was known in the US during the late 19th century as an influential person in the expansion of the steel industry. So how did Andrew Carnegie become this wealthy, and what can young people learn from him? In this video, we'll share with you 5 important lessons young people should learn from Andrew Carnegie. If you're new here, consider subscribing so you won't miss other interesting videos like this. Lesson 1. Learn to be industrious. Carnegie was the son of a hand loom weaver, William Carnegie, who made very little contribution to the feeding of his family. To make matters worse, the advent of weaving machines and the general economic decline rendered Williams's job useless. The Carnegie family was forced into poverty and in 1848 had to immigrate to Pennsylvania. At the age of 13, Carnegie had to step up for his family. This tough start awakened in him the strong desire to succeed and rise out of poverty, so he got a job as a robbing boy in a cotton factory where he earned $1.20 at the time for 72 hours of work each week. 1 year later, Carnegie got a job as a messenger for a telegraph company where he learned how to use the equipment by himself and got so good at it. Carnegie's diligence paid off in 1853 when he was noticed by the superintendent of the Pennsylvania Railroad Company, Thomas Scott, who hired him as his personal telegrapher. By 1859, Carnegie had succeeded Thomas as the superintendent of the Pittsburgh Railroad Division at the age of 24. This is where his journey to wealth began. The lesson for young people. As a young person wishing to be successful, you need to be industrious and driven. Learn skills that will benefit you and make you money. Despite being just a messenger for the telegraph company, Carnegie taught himself how to use the telegraph equipment. If not for this skill, Carnegie would not have been hired by Thomas Scott, and he would not have stepped onto the path that led to his success. Lesson 2. Learn to study. In his youth, Carnegie was known as a voracious reader. In those days, Saturday nights were the only night that he had free time, and he used it wisely by educating himself in reading and writing and taking advantage of the generosity of Colonel James Anderson, an Allegheny citizen who allowed local boys into his library, an unlikely occurrence at the time. In that time, Carnegie read 400 books that contributed to his self-improvement. As Carnegie progressed through his career, books would continue to provide his education, and it was by reading that he learned so many skills that would prove invaluable to him in his journey to success. The lesson for young people. Habit and wealth creation expert Tom Corley carried out research and discovered that 85% of successful people read 2 or more self-improvement or educational books every month. Reading books has always influenced the lives of many successful people. If you want to be successful, know this: studying books helps you discover yourself, thereby helping you to improve on your shortcomings, stirs your brain of thought, and expands your verbal intelligence, thereby creating opportunities for you to discuss your ideas openly. Lesson 3. Connect and take chance of opportunities. When Carnegie became superintendent of the Railroad Division in 1859, he realized that railroads were a fast-growing industry at the time, that he decided to invest in it, but he was not sure how he could. Carnegie's opportunity came when his boss at the time, Scott, alerted him to the impending sale of 10 shares in the Adam Express Company. So what did Carnegie do? He convinced his mother to mortgage their house and used the $500 to secure the investment. This investment will eventually pave the way to many more opportunities to make millions of dollars in the railroad business. The lesson for young people. Scott had always been impressed with Carnegie's dedication to his work, and when Scott saw a way to help him, he did not hesitate. There is no better combination for success than your connections and opportunity. The connections you make will open the way to opportunities, and that will make you wealthy. Imagine using your connections to win insider contracts, for example. Wouldn't that be amazing? Your hard work and dedication are some of the skills that can make this possible, so learn to use them to make connections wherever you find yourself. Lesson 4. Take calculated risk. Despite his involvement with the railroad, Carnegie turned his sights to other business interests. He was approached with the idea of sleeping cars on railways by Theodore Woodruff, who also offered him a share in the Woodruff Sleeping Car Company. Now at the time, there were no such thing as sleeping cars. It was an entirely new idea, but Carnegie decided to take the risk after immense research and consideration of the end goal. He secured a bank loan in order to accept Theodore's proposal and eventually purchased the company that launched the first sleeping car on railroads in the US. By the time he turned 30 in 1865, Carnegie was already involved in iron works, oil wells, and steamers on the Great Lakes, in addition to the railroads, which on its own was bringing him an annual income of $50,000. With this earning as a new starting point, Carnegie would then move on to become involved in steel production, from which he built the Carnegie Steel Corporation, known as the largest steel manufacturing company in the world. The lesson for young people. You may view risk-taking negatively, considering it dangerous or foolish. However, while some risk don't pay off, it's important to realize that some do. Taking calculated risk that minimize negatives and maximize positive outcomes can make the difference between a normal life and a wealthy life. Lesson 5. Luck comes with courage. When Carnegie was 29 years old in 1864, he invested $40,000 in a farm on Oil Creek, Pennsylvania. To his amazement, his driller struck oil, and in 1 year, Carnegie was collecting more than $1 million in royalties and other payments which he used to purchase his first steel mill. All this happened at a time when the demand for the metal used in making railroad cars and tracks was at its highest, but that was how his wealth skyrocketed until he became one of the wealthiest persons in the US after John Rockefeller. The lesson for young people. Warren Buffett once said, "Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree 20 years ago." To be lucky in life, you have to be courageous, dare life, and try things. The more actions you take, the luckier you'll become. In conclusion, if you're a young person and you want to be successful and rich in life, you must learn to be diligent, proactive, and productive in everything you do. You must learn the art of self-improvement by educating yourself constantly with books. Carnegie once said, "Always be on the lookout for opportunities, and when one arises, grab it." The connections you make are sure to boost your success. Take informed risk. Any goal-directed action you take is sure to yield great results. If you think you aren't lucky, you can make your own luck by taking more actions. Thank you for watching our videos. We'd like to give you another interesting video for you to enjoy next. But before then, our team will be very happy if you can like this video and share it with your friends on social media. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss other interesting videos like this. Look at your screen now to see 2 other videos we handpicked for you to enjoy next. We love you.